December 12, 1901. A frozen clifftop in Newfoundland. A young Italian inventor clutches a telephone receiver, straining to hear 3 faint clicks through the howling static. The signal has traveled 2,200 miles across the Atlantic Ocean. Impossible, the scientist said. Wireless waves cannot bend around the Earth. Yet here, in this bitter wind, Guglielmo Marconi is about to prove the entire scientific establishment wrong. And in doing so, he will change human civilization forever. It's a moment of pure terror and ecstasy. Marconi knows what's at stake. He's 27 years old, already facing skeptics who mock his ideas. The kite holding his antenna whips violently in the December gale. His assistant looks doubtful. If this fails, his company could collapse. His reputation would be finished. Then there it is. Click, click, click. The letter S in Morse code. Faint, sporadic, barely distinguishable from atmospheric noise, but unmistakable. A voice without wires. A message leaping across an ocean. In that instant, the world becomes smaller. The impossible becomes real. And a young man who never formally enrolled in university is about to become the father of the wireless age. But how did he get here? How did a self-taught Italian aristocrat's son end up standing on a windswept cliff rewriting the laws of physics? Guglielmo Marconi was born on April 25, 1874 in Bologna, Italy, into a world of privilege and contradiction. His father, Giuseppe, was a wealthy Italian landowner. His mother, Annie Jameson, was the granddaughter of the founder of Jameson Irish Whiskey. An unlikely marriage, Italian aristocracy meets Irish commerce. But young Guglielmo didn't fit the mold. He never attended formal school, not because his family couldn't afford it, but because he learned differently. Private tutors taught him chemistry, mathematics, and physics at home. He was curious, restless, obsessed with how things worked. While other children played, Marconi dismantled clocks and built crude electrical circuits in his family's villa. His mother saw something in him. She encouraged his experiments, even when they seemed pointless. His father was less convinced. What future was there in tinkering with wires and batteries? At age 18, Marconi returned to Bologna and became acquainted with Augusto Righi, a physics professor at the University of Bologna, who had done research on Heinrich Hertz's work. Righi permitted Marconi to attend lectures at the university and also to use the university's laboratory and library. It was an act of kindness that would change history. Marconi became obsessed. In 1894, at age 20, he transformed the attic of Villa Grifone into his laboratory. With the help of his butler, Mignani, he began building transmitters and receivers from scratch. He worked through the night, fueled by a singular vision. What if you could send messages without wires? This wasn't a new dream. Inventors across Europe had been exploring wireless telegraph technologies for over 50 years. But Marconi saw what others missed. He wasn't interested in science for science's sake. He wanted something practical, something that worked in the real world, not just in laboratories. Late one December night in 1894, he demonstrated his first breakthrough to his mother. A transmitter on one side of the room made a bell ring on the other, no wires connecting them. It was crude, but it was real. His father, finally impressed, began supporting the experiments. By the summer of 1895, Marconi moved outdoors. He raised his antenna higher. He grounded his transmitter, a technique borrowed from wired telegraphy. Suddenly, his signals traveled over hills, reaching up to 2 miles. He realized, with funding and refinement, this could span oceans. This could connect continents. But when he approached the Italian Ministry of Post and Telegraphs for support, he never received a response. An apocryphal story claims a minister wrote to the Longara, the insane asylum, on his proposal, though the letter was never found. Whether true or not, the message was clear. Italy wasn't interested. Marconi faced a choice: give up or go somewhere that would believe in him. In early 1896, at age 21, he and his mother sailed to England. His equipment was confiscated at customs. Officials suspected he might be importing explosives. They destroyed it. Imagine, crossing an ocean to pursue your dream, only to watch your life's work smashed to pieces on a dock. Most people would have quit. Marconi refused to give up and rebuilt his equipment. In Britain, Marconi found his champion, William Preece, chief electrical engineer of the General Post Office. Preece saw potential where others saw fantasy. He introduced Marconi to the public through high-profile lectures. By March 1897, Marconi had transmitted Morse code signals over a distance of about 3 miles across Salisbury Plain. Then, on May 13, 1897, he sent the first wireless message across open sea, from Flatholm Island to Lavernock Point near Cardiff, across the Bristol Channel. The message read simply, "Are you ready?" The world was ready. Suddenly, Marconi was famous. He demonstrated his system for the Italian Navy, for Lloyd's of London, across the English Channel. In 1899, he sailed to America to cover the yacht races for the New York Herald. Ships at sea could now communicate with shore. Lighthouses could summon rescue vessels. On March 17, 1899, the East Goodwin lightship sent the first wireless distress signal on behalf of the merchant vessel Elbe, which had run aground. But Marconi wasn't satisfied. Telegraphs already connected America and Europe with undersea cables. What wireless needed was to prove it could compete. Everyone said radio waves traveled in straight lines, limited by the horizon. Crossing the Atlantic wirelessly was considered scientifically impossible. Marconi didn't care what was impossible. On December 12, 1901, on Signal Hill in Newfoundland, he received those 3 faint clicks from Poldhu in Cornwall, England, about 2,200 miles away. The scientific establishment was stunned. Some accused him of fraud. How could radio waves bend around the Earth's curve? Marconi didn't know yet, none of them did. But radio waves were bouncing off the ionosphere, a layer of the atmosphere discovered only later. He had stumbled upon one of nature's greatest gifts to communication, purely through stubborn experimentation. As Marconi himself later reflected, "Have I done the world good, or have I added a menace?" He understood, even then, that his invention could be used for both connection and destruction. Marconi's wireless transformed the world rapidly. By October 17, 1907, a regular transatlantic radio telegraph service linked Clifton in Ireland and Glace Bay in Canada. Ships no longer sailed in isolation. But the most dramatic vindication came on April 15, 1912, when the Titanic struck an iceberg and sank. The wireless operators, Jack Phillips and Harold Bride, worked for Marconi's company, not the White Star Line. Their distress signals summoned the Carpathia, which rescued over 700 survivors. The Carpathia took 17 minutes to receive and decode the SOS signal sent by Titanic, despite a distance of 58 miles between the two ships. When Carpathia docked in New York, Marconi himself boarded to interview Bride, the surviving operator. Britain's Postmaster General declared, "Those who have been saved through one man, Mr. Marconi, and his marvelous invention." Ironically, Marconi himself had been offered free passage on Titanic, but had sailed on Lusitania 3 days earlier. He had paperwork to do, and preferred the public stenographer aboard that vessel. But Marconi's story has shadows. His company was criticized for being technically conservative, clinging too long to spark transmitters when the future lay with continuous wave technology. More troubling, in 1923, he joined Mussolini's Fascist Party. By 1930, he was president of Mussolini's Royal Academy of Italy and a member of the Fascist Grand Council. He supported the Italian invasion of Ethiopia and, according to documents that came to light in 2002, collaborated with campaigns that prevented Jews from joining the Royal Academy during the 1930s. In one chilling speech, he declared, "I reclaim the honor of being the first fascist in the field of radiotelegraphy, the first who acknowledged the utility of joining the electric rays in a bundle, as Mussolini was the first in the political field who acknowledged the necessity of merging all the healthy energies of the country into a bundle for the greater greatness of Italy." Genius and moral blindness can coexist in the same person. Marconi's brilliance gave the world wireless communication. His politics aligned him with tyranny. In his final years, Marconi continued experimenting with microwave technology, but his heart was failing. He suffered 9 heart attacks in the span of 3 years. On July 20th, 1937, at age 63, Marconi died in Rome following his 9th and fatal heart attack. Italy held a state funeral. Shops on the street where he lived were closed for national mourning. At 6 p.m. the next day, the time designated for the funeral, something extraordinary happened. Transmitters around the world observed 2 minutes of silence in his honor. The British Post Office sent messages requesting that all broadcasting ships honor Marconi with 2 minutes of broadcasting silence. The airwaves, the medium Marconi had conquered, went still in tribute. Radio, for 2 minutes, remembered the man who gave it life. For unexplained reasons, Marconi left his entire fortune to his second wife, Maria Cristina Betsy Scali, and their only daughter, Maria Elettra Elena Anna. Today, we live in Marconi's world. Every smartphone, every Wi-Fi network, every satellite broadcast descends from his experiments in that Bologna attic. He didn't invent radio waves, nature did that. He didn't invent all the radio components. Many pioneers contributed technologies he built upon. In 1943, the U.S. Supreme Court even restored prior patents of Nikola Tesla, Oliver Lodge, and John Stone, though the court explicitly declared that their decision had no bearing on Marconi's claim as the first to achieve practical radio transmission. What Marconi did was see potential where others saw only theory. He took fragile laboratory phenomena and forged them into systems that worked, in storms, across oceans, in the real, messy world. He had the engineer's vision, make it useful. His Nobel Prize in 1909, shared with Ferdinand Braun, honored this achievement, not for discovering radio waves, but for making wireless telegraphy real, for creating a practical system that changed human communication forever. Yet his legacy forces uncomfortable questions. Can we celebrate someone's contributions while condemning their politics? Should we? Marconi connected the world but also aligned himself with fascism. He saved lives at sea but supported invasions and discriminatory policies. He's honored with statues, coins, and airports bearing his name, but history remembers his moral failures too. Perhaps the lesson is this: innovation and ethics are separate skills. One does not guarantee the other, and humanity must consciously choose both. On that frozen clifftop in 1901, Marconi heard 3 clicks that changed everything. He connected distant shores, he shrank the world. He proved that invisible waves could carry human voices across impossible distances. But he also reminds us that genius without wisdom can serve dark purposes, that the tools we create reflect not just our ingenuity, but our choices. We live in a wireless world. Every time you send a message, stream a song, or call across continents, you're using the medium Marconi pioneered. The question he asked echoes still: have I done the world good, or have I added a menace? The answer depends on us. If this story moved you, subscribe for more stories of the scientists who built our world, the triumphs, the struggles, and the uncomfortable truths we must remember.